like the previous victim. This man was armed. He tried to defend himself. What's this? Some sort of note.
Là, c'est vraiment comme The Witcher, quoi. Merde, j'avais cliqué sur le truc. Putain, il y avait un message. On peut le voir où le message? J'ai ramassé un truc. C'est lui massif. Il est où le message en fait?
Blood and empty gin bottles. This bishop fellow is something of a heavy drinker. There are blood splats on the other side of the canal. I must reach that barge.
Wouhou! J'adore ce truc. Putain, mais il y a du sang de ouf. Oh, ma cible. Oh, 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 oh. Il y a du monde. Ah! Hors de combat, silencieux arrière d'un ennemi. Ah, je peux attaquer futurement? Ok. Ah, mais faut vachement j'avance doucement alors. Eh, j'ai de bouffer, gros. Je te craille! Oh, tu peux faire des trucs de ouf. Équipez-vous d'une arme à distance et appuyez. Oh.
Good. I may need a lot of bullets. I feel like I'm back.
Attends, tu vas reparler après quand j'aurai activé le truc. Enfin, quand j'aurai activé, quand j'aurai mis mon arme à distance. Ouais. Il n'y avait pas écrit de la mettre, gros. Ah, c'est ça que j'avais ramassé, mais il me manquait un truc. Ok.
On the front line again.
Non, le corps il est pas du tout bugué, regardez le corps. Frère, ça y est, je commence à faire bugger le jeu, les gars. Ok, physique corps à corps, à distance, pouvoir sans, ténèbres. D'accord, ok. Je vois le délire. Hein.
Steady, boys! Never near!
Quoi? Non mais oh! J'aurais pas pensé qu'il m'aurait chargé jusqu'à là, quoi. Oh, il peut me parer. Ah! Fils! Et gros! J'ai besoin de ça. Je peux plus attaquer. Chier. Tout à l'heure, je suis allé dans le feu, gros, ça m'a... Près du feu, ça m'a brûlé, quoi. C'était insane. Bon, moi, j'ai fait l'expérience. N'est pas allé près du feu. Ok, les traces de sang vont là-bas. Putain, mais il y a des traces de sang de partout. Mais en haut, il n'y a pas un truc intéressant. Putain, je me trompe de touche, gros. Ça va pas le faire, ça. Besoin, ça donne de l'XP, enculé. Et regarde, il y avait des trucs de ouf. Non mais j'adore gros, je clique sur le truc mais en fait il faut maintenir en fait, je me fais brain. Usé, ouais mais c'est que des trucs usés gros. En fait faut que je le répare quoi, c'est ça qui est ouf. Ah putain j'ai cru qu'il y avait des dégâts de chute, mais pas du tout. Ah ma cible est en haut, j'ai ma cible pour aller là. Ah putain mais gros il y a plein de trucs de partout. Mais là c'est une save zone. Voilà. Bonjour monsieur. Je crois que vous allez très mal, monsieur. Déjà là, je peux rien faire sur ça. Bon. Des compétences, je peux en mettre encore, mais... Non. Merde. Oh. Ça va bouger. What the fuck? Oh! C'est passé quoi?
Reeks of it. The scent is so strong it makes me dizzy.
Arme à deux mains! Équiper une arme à deux mains. Et appuyer sur triangle pour utiliser la compétence. Pour utiliser sa compétence spéciale. Ok. Non mais direct. Direct. Une arme à deux mains c'était une putain de hache gros. Et c'est quoi pour améliorer? Ah, je peux l'améliorer ça là? Ah ouais mais faut que je sois... Mais le problème c'est que je sais pas comment on les met en fait. Ah bah oui je suis con moi gros. Oh là là. Ultime. J'ai pas d'ultime pour le moment.
This place reeks of bloodshed.
Oh la vache.
This creature is bedeviled. I must put it down.
C'est un boss? Ok, non, 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 l'arme à deux mains, non merci en fait. Ça me consomme trop d'endurance en fait, faut que je fasse attention à ce que je fais. Gros, calme-toi. Par contre, j'avais pas activé... Merde. Excusez-moi encore, mais j'avais pas mis de flingue. Pourquoi ça me le met... Ah oui, mais oui, c'est vrai, ça a deux mains. Ah ouais, je suis con. Mais ouais, mais non, en fait. Oh. C'est nice. Ça va, monsieur?
William was an honorable man. I could have saved him.
Mr. Hampton, are you in there?
We knew him well, another lost soul, a kindred spirit.
Sir, listen to the sound of my voice. I'm a doctor. You're suffering from shock.
I must return to my flock. They'll stray without me.
Remember, certain skulls are every bit as resistant as we are.
Who are you? What do you mean by scowl?
You truly are a newborn. I should have realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar. Are you... like me? Can you help me?
I believe, sir, I already have.
Merci de m'avoir sauvé la vie. Ah, je veux pas le soigner, moi, je veux le grailler, hein.
By George and the Saints, you've solved the mystery of these terrible murders. Patience, good fellows, I've come to offer help. Just give me a moment to secure my boat. We can leave this awful place.
William was not the evil man they claimed. He was just taken by the thirst. He needed his drink.
This man requires medical attention. We'll see he gets to the nearest hospital.
No, please, I must tend to my fold. My flock needs me.
There, sir. Go with the good Dr. Swansea. He's resourceful, and I'm sure he'll take good care of you.
You'd best come as well. The sun is soon to rise, and you'll need a place to rest.
I just need a moment. If I can learn something about what has happened to William, I'll be a step closer to understanding what happened to me.
Non mais moi je veux grailler tout le monde, moi les gars, je veux sauver personne. Eh, je veux le buter. Il est où? Récupérer les échantillons de sang du cadavre. Mais il est où le cadavre? Ah gros, vous avez... Ah, il est là.
This poor creature can't be my maker. Could it be some subspecies of vampire? I must find a place to analyze the blood.
Frère, mais gros, il a tué tellement de gens, lui. C'est un truc de dingue.
Where are we headed?
We're on our way to the Pembroke Hospital. It's just across the canal. They'll have a bed for poor Mr. Hampton.
William was... what manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted. And the woman? What... who is she?
What woman?
Oh, don't play me for a fool. You used me to locate that skull. You must know who she is.
And I thought you a gentleman. You shouldn't talk about a lady behind her back, but I will tell you she values her privacy. Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea?
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stole, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician, like yourself, Dr. Reid.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reid, a surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it! I had my suspicions. But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain. Dr. Reid. Marvelous.
Have we met?
I attended 3 of your seminars before the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word, again. From a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
Of that, you are right.
Well, then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembroke Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your predicament.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this affliction.
Dr. Reid, take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed and have a place to hide. I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes. So, what do you say?
It seems I have little choice, but yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book, and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Et j'espère qu'on a vraiment le choix de grailler tout le monde parce qu'ils l'ont dit et on pourra grailler des gens. Hein. Faire le choix. Ah wesh, mais violent le chargement, vous avez coupé la musique les gars. Ah, les chargements sont violents.
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Worry no more, Nurse Crane, for I bring good news.
Oh, Doctor, what a night. We lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton. Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy,
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reid here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea, immediately.
Welcome aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
Ouais, ils voulaient plus me lâcher la main, gros. Ouais, j'espère que j'ai vraiment le choix parce qu'ils ont dit que normalement on devait avoir le choix, soit vraiment être vraiment méchant, vampire ou gentil, quoi. Et franchement, j'ai envie de bah tous les buter, quoi. Ah ma soeur, je vais te bouffer, hein. T'inquiète pas, ça va y aller. Hein. Oh! Oh, je vois rouge.
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seed of life. Drink at this river, try it all.
Laisse ta rage venir. Bouffe-le, bouffe-le. Je suis un bâtard.
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Restez poli. Je vous laisserai vous vider de votre sang. Je vous tuerai.
Insult me again and I'll put an end to your misery right now.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes, that's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor, Dr. Jonathan Reid.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me.
Je crois que c'est là où on va avoir le choix, non?
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Oh 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 oh. La qualité du sang, dit qu'il... Ok. Oui, oui, bon, ils sont aussi, quoi. Mais ils sont aussi. Mais ce que vous m'avez dit, en fait, déjà. Afin de boire le sang d'une victime. Appuie sur rien, ok. Ben ouais, moi je veux le bouffer, moi.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
In the back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fuck me. Fuck you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Yeah! Enfin! On a le choix. À qui le tour? Je vais vous tous vous graille, vous race, les gars. Je suis un méchant docteur. Oh, le son, ils sont stylés, les sons. L'ambiance sonore est ouf.
To embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden, such a divine sin.
Frère, l'ambiance sonore est insane. Oh, comment je graille tout le monde, moi. Ça y est, j'ai encore soif, les gars. Donnez-moi du sang. Je veux du sang, du sang. Oh!
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reid has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Ah! Je suis niveau 1, je peux pas. Je veux le charmer, je veux le bouffer. Veux le graille. Laissez-moi le graille. Indice requis, affiché.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
Je dois quand même atteindre un stade de niveau pour le graille, quoi. Là, vous voyez, je suis 1 et lui, il est 2, donc je dois quand même atteindre un stade, quoi. Le personnel est bien plus important, la situation est difficile dans toute la ville.
It's not exactly the best situation in London either. I can't have expected this hospital to be prepared for what was to come.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reid. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the
Donc
positive
vraiment pour faire le jeu en
characteristics.
mode bâtard, faut vraiment parler à tout le monde pour essayer de bien trouver des indices pour les grailles quoi. Bilan de bonne santé, non mais nique ta mère.
Do you
Non.
need any medical assistance yourself, Doctor?
Come on, don't be ridiculous, dear colleague.
Merde, en plus j'ai fait le truc gros. Ah merde, mais ça on l'a... Parlez-moi du personnel. Et on a déjà parlé de ça, non?
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further.
Oh oh, j'ai appris des secrets à tout le monde, je vous graille.
If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Ah, vous allez me perdre sur ce jeu, j'ai bouffé tout le monde.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office down again.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse,
You really...
I'll go...
Ah merde, pardon, ça on l'a déjà dit, excusez-moi. J'avais oublié que... indice requis, ouais, ciao.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
En tout cas, merci pour les infos que tu m'as donné, gros, que je vais pouvoir grailler des gens. Ah c'est elle m'a donné des indices sur elle, à graille.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I apologize, nurse. I needed some time to myself. This has been the longest and strangest night of my life.
You delivered poor Mr. Hampton from a terrible fate. The means to that end should be of little concern, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reid. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first. What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Ok. Merci. Putain, je gagne de l'XP à chaque fois, donc c'est insane. Je mets cette vision pour voir là où il y a des gens, mais je vais griller tout le monde, gros, je m'en bats les couilles, moi. Viens là, toi, j'ai eu des infos sur toi. On doit se parler, là.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised. But I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a
Ça parle beaucoup, mais les dialogues sont pas très longs en fait. Donc c'est ça qui est bien en fait. J'ai 5. Putain, l'autre était au 2, elle est au 5. Oh putain, ça va être dur à la graille. Hein. Coriace la vieille.
We're all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them? Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
Thank you for your concern, but I'm fine.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Do you require medical assistance?
Merde.
Thank you for your concern.
C'est pas ce que je voulais faire. Ok, mais au revoir.
Call me if you need assistance.
J'essaye d'en prendre un peu plus sur des gens. Hein. Bonjour toi. T'es qui toi?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reid. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reid. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reid. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Ouh, on peut faire des affaires avec lui. 2. Ça peut le faire.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
Lui doit avoir plein d'infos, c'est un ambulancier.
You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Ah, nouvelle enquête. Ok. Mais encore au retour. Question personnelle. Ah merde, que des indices requis.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reid. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Ah, il fait quand même un marchand, le gars. Je vais rien acheter pour le moment, on sait jamais, je vais rien acheter.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems...
Attends, mais j'ai eu une autre quête, c'est quoi les quêtes? Ils sont où les quêtes déjà? Mission principale, j'ai pas de truc de niveau de quête, je sais pas.
Perfect to conduct my research.
Mais gros, si je peux grailler tout le monde, je parle à tout le monde, moi. Je vais faire la pipelette pour graille, moi. Je veux vraiment tous les tuer. Je suis un vampire, bordel. Là, par contre, les chargements, gros, juste pour parler à quelqu'un, là, c'est insane.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
I don't like your attitude, Nurse Hawkins. Pessimism can be as lethal as the epidemic in times like these.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Oh, des infos sur lui, merci.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Ok, merci, elle m'a donné des indices sur lui. Mais nice. Yo, scolaire! Viens là, ambulancier de merde! Ça va les gars, vous buguez pas trop? Ambulancier, monsieur.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
La question personnelle. Merde, j'avais pas un indice.
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm fine, Doc. Physically, at least.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reid.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Goodbye, Milton.
Ok. Pardon, vous me cassez les couilles. Putain, t'es qui toi? On s'est déjà parlé toi? Pas du tout, viens là.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor.
On a déjà parlé, non? Je m'en souviens même plus. Gros. Ah non, pas du tout.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably
Enfin, je
would
sais
have
plus.
left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Si, c'est celle niveau 5, ouais, celle, on a déjà parlé. Pardon, je me rappelle plus. Ah, les PNJ changent de place, en fait, je m'en souviens pas. Monsieur. Vous savez, il faut que je graille des gens, hein.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reid, any good news to share?
Ah merde, on a déjà parlé à lui aussi. Non. Putain, mais vous faites chier là! Mais c'était qui l'autre mec? J'ai cru que c'était à toi que j'avais parlé déjà, l'autre mec qui était en face. Putain, mais y'a tout le monde qui bouge de place, les gars. C'est un délire le jeu, y'a tout le monde qui bouge. Toi t'es qui? Toi t'es la vieille. Qui est l'ambulancier dehors, ok. Inconnu. Attends, je peux parler au patient?
I'm Dr. Reid, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reid, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
What? T'es un vampire toi? Mais qu'est-ce que tu me chantes toi? Hein?
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft?
T'es pas un vampire, t'as vu ta gueule?
Being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades.
Je crois pas du tout que c'est un vampire, je pense qu'elle rêve quoi, elle perd la tête.
I need new blood.
Ouais, t'étais pas bien, mais en tout cas j'ai pris un truc sur toi.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reid. Blood is the only drug I need.
Ok.
I'll leave you, Miss...
Pénétrer dans le jardin. En fait, attendez. Il y a des trucs que je comprends pas en fait. J'ai ma quête principale, ok. Votre bureau, ok, c'est ma quête principale, mais j'ai des quêtes secondaires que... Ça me dit des quêtes secondaires, mais je sais pas du tout. Ah, pénétrer... Ah, ok, d'accord. Et comment je peux activer la quête en fait? Suivre. Ne plus suivre. Ah, ok, d'accord. Pénétrer dans les jardins. Ouais, mais c'est où les jardins en fait? Ma foi, gros.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reid, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for
Ah, c'est celui qu'on a sauvé.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise?
On va parler à lui après on ira faire la quête.
To rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then?
Not really.
Pardon, j'ai cliqué toujours sur le même truc, j'ai cliqué, excusez-moi.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reid. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The wet boot boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Merde. Excuse.
Hello again, Dr. Reid.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted.
J'oublie à chaque fois une partie, moi.
Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest.
Ouais, ok, d'accord.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
Lui va rien m'apporter plus dans la vie.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reid. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Oh, je pourrais le charmer. Oh non. J'ai trouvé une cible. À graille. Je kiffe le son à chaque fois quand on essaie de grailler.
Farewell, my life, you betrayed me, God.
Désolé mon pote. Mais je suis un vampire, putain de ta mère. Tu crois que je vais te laisser en vie, espèce de... On est où là ici? Je vais rester dans mon coin ici parce qu'on sait jamais s'il y a d'autres trucs.
It's locked, all right.
Alors je sais pas ce que vous en pensez, mais moi je kiffe juste pour grailler des gens. Hein. C'est ma vie. Hein. Ok, là c'est fermé. Ah merde, c'est le prêtre. Ah, je veux grailler encore. Oh, une scie usée j'ai ramassé. Ah ouais, mais là c'est ma quête, gros. Tu sais quoi, comme c'est ma quête avant, n'allez pas ici, il n'y a pas de cadavre, fouillez pas, c'est rien. Il y a juste une crise cardiaque. Ne vous inquiétez pas, ça va passer. En fait là je suis dehors en fait, complètement quoi, il y a... En fait ça me gêne en fait, je vois une putain de tête en fait. Je sais pas où elle est, mais ça me gêne. Merde, ici on n'est pas allé ici.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reid? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swans's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reid, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Doctor.
Regardez juste derrière.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve.
Vous le voyez,
your
son reflet à lui, mais pas le mien. C'est ça qui enseigne. J'ai sauvé de nombreuses vies. Le savoir est notre meilleure arme. Je n'ai pas à me justifier.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reid. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Aren't you too old for such jealousy? It really won't do you any good, you know.
Don't be ridiculous, Dr. Reid. A simple glance is enough for me to know you have nothing for me to envy.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr.
En fait, en ayant plus de choix et en leur parlant, leur, je sais pas comment ça s'appelle, on va dire leur esprit baisse, et plus je pourrais les charmer après quand ils arriveront à mon niveau.
The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Ok. C'est pas elle qu'on avait parlé déjà? Si. Si c'est. Bon ben nous les petits loups on va se quitter là sur cet épisode. J'espère que ça vous a plu. Si ça vous a plu, n'hésitez pas à liker, commenter, partager et vous abonner. Et on se retrouve à très bientôt pour la suite de Vampire. Allez, je vous dis à très bientôt les petits loups. Merci à tous d'avoir regardé cet épisode.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work. And to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter. And a good one, too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reid.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reid? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
All I wanted was to go back to work, to take care of my children.